Hi, this is John Martinez with Midwest Revenue Group. I spend my time training sales teams across the country for all kinds of different businesses in different industries. And one of the first questions I almost always get is, what's a better closing technique we can use? How can we take all these deals we've been working on and re-engage them and close them? And I get it, that makes sense. As salespeople, we are inundated with information about closing, right? Every video, every book, every sales process heavily focuses on the best ways to close, or the top 3 ways to close, or the top 10 ways to close. And we all know about the Ben Franklin close and the puppy dog close. And all this attention is placed on closing. But there's a problem with this. If we actually look at the data, if we look at the data from companies like Huthwaite, who have studied dang near 35,000 sales calls over the course of 12 years. If we look at the Challenger sale and the research they did, we know that the more times we actually attempt to close, the less likely we are. Well, this presents a pretty dang big problem, right? If we're focusing on one thing, that the more we do it, the less likely we are to actually get a deal, that's bad, right? It's very counterproductive. Even though it feels like the right thing to do, it doesn't get you the results you want to get. I want to kind of explain why this is. Let's look at this, right? Here's a real common scenario: losing weight. Most everybody in the country, except for some genetic, abnormalities like my wife, who just never need to diet, most of us have dieted or exercises or are striving to get in better shape, either for the way we look or the way we feel or for health reasons, doesn't matter, but most of us are familiar with that process. And if you go to any reputable person or coach or company about getting healthier and losing weight and getting into shape, I want you to think about what they ask you to do and how they actually get you results. Do they just say, hey, great, come in once a month, hop on the scale, and if you're not at the appropriate weight, I'm going to berate you and call you names and just say, next month when you come in, be the right weight? Or do they say, hey, listen, let's not worry about the scale. That's the outcome. How do we get to that outcome? Let's look at what you're doing on a daily basis. Let's look at the exercise you're doing, and let's look at the calories you're eating, the nutrients you're eating, and what you're actually consuming. Well, we all know the answer to that, right? The best in that business, they're gonna control the process. They know if they control the activities you do on a daily basis, what the outcome would be. And now when you think about it in that context, if all they did was looked at the outcome, the weight each month, and then just berated you saying, lose more, lose more, lose more, that would be insanely ineffective. And that's common sense. We all know that. But the silly thing is, with sales, we're laser focused on that outcome. That's closing. That's the outcome. What the best salespeople in the world do is they don't care about the outcome. In fact, they don't even try to close. They don't try to close at all. They focus 100% on the process. What are all the activities in the process leading up to the end of the deal? Because they know when they follow that process, when they eat the right foods, when they do the right exercise in the losing weight context, they know what the outcome's going to be. Just like if you cut your calories in half and increased exercise daily, you're going to get in better shape. The best salespeople in the world know, if I go through the right questioning processes, if I uncover the motivations and draw a parallel to those motivations and personal impact, if I uncover everything that might stand in the way of the deal from going forward, fears, concerns, relationships, and so on, that at the end of the day, if it's possible, I'm going to close the deal. Or at very least, I'm going to get a clear yes, or I'm going to get a clear no, which is ultimately what we want at the end of a sales call. Yeses are great. It's great to get every yes possible, but if it's not going to be a yes, we want a no, and that's it. So here's what I want you to do going forward, if you're not doing this already. Stop focusing on the closing and start focusing on the process. And there's a really, really simple way you can do this. Just go back and take an hour, even just 30 minutes, and think about your most successful deals, your most successful sales, who they were with, what went into them, what questions were asked, what the process was like. If you do this for a handful of deals, somewhere between 4 and 6, you're going to see some similarities pretty quickly. And you're going to know right off the bat, wow, when these 3 or 4 things happen, we have good success. We have a high likelihood of exactly whatever we want out of this sales call. A clear yes, a clear no. Obviously, all that could be yeses. Let's get yeses out of them. Draw that parallel. Draw those conclusions. See what's similar about all those. And then just simply write them down on a piece of paper. Say, hey, we want to try to get these 4 things out of our sales process, out of every conversation, every interaction. And once we have those 4 things, we're going to probably be closer to getting the result we want. It's really that simple. Start with the top 3 or 4 things you need to get out of every interaction, every sales process, for a sale to end up the way you want it to end up. And you are well on your way to really crafting a solid sales process. So, hey, I hope this helps. If you've been too focused on closing and you're realizing that now, if this resonates with you and you want another way, you want to find a way to get better sales results that have nothing to do with, hard closing or pressuring or doing any of those things that are really uncomfortable for you and your prospects and really just aren't the right way to do business, then go ahead and try this. Outline those 3 or 4 things that are common to each of your successful sales encounters and do everything you can to make sure those 3 or 4 things are accomplished or done on every sales call going forward. And that's going to start you out on the right path to getting better results. Listen, if you found this to be helpful and you think anyone else can get some use out of it, please share it with them. This is John Martinez with Midwest Revenue Group.